Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. Why are your friends broke? My friends? Our friends. Your friends may not want to hear this, but talking to your friends isn't my goal. I can't help them because, for the most part, they're not even watching videos like this, and they can't hear a word we say. Remember, until someone is ready, they can't hear a word about finances, and most of our friends aren't ready. Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time often talks about his rule where you audit your personal network. This doesn't mean you just eliminate people in your life who don't understand money. There'd be almost no one left. It does mean, though, that maybe you should add a few people who do understand money. This might mean doing something like going to a local real estate meetup where you talk with other investors who actually understand the concepts that you're trying to learn and master. It could also mean that you do things like join the Three Amigos of FI Facebook group. We become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So maybe start hanging out with some people you'd like to end up like. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why your friends or our friends are broke. And that's okay. It's okay to know broke people. Just don't be your friend. The first reason we know broke people is because we know broke people, and they're all talking to each other. Getting advice from broke people is probably going to be what keeps us broke. So our friends are all talking to each other. An example of this is the school system. The current school system in the United States, while there are some places trying to be a little more proactive and add finances to the education, don't teach about money. The expectation is your parents will teach you about money. And if 99% of our parents aren't in the 1%, we're probably getting some bad advice. So when we're thinking of our friends, talking to our friends who are broke, giving advice to each other, which is sometimes really bad advice, we have to sit back and think, where am I getting my advice from? The second reason some of our friends are broke is because they actually live in the middle of wish syndrome. They talk about winning the lottery. They ask questions like, what would you do if you won the lottery? They also hold on to concepts like, I wish I purchased Amazon in 2005 because 1,000 shares would be worth X amount of dollars today, like they would hold on to it or know when to sell. They talk about buying crypto when it was $2 a Bitcoin, but they're not actually taking action today. With this wish syndrome that people get caught in, a lot of them buy lottery tickets. So not only do they say, I wish I won the lottery, but they buy lottery tickets so they can daydream about it. And I've heard this a couple of times, and I really love the sound of it. But the lottery is a tax on the poor. It seems like the less amount of money we have, the more we're willing to gamble on the lottery. Here's an example from my own personal experience. When I was broke and had basically no money, a lot of bad debt, wasn't making a lot of money, if I ever found myself with a $20 bill that I didn't have an immediate need for to pay a bill today, right now, I would go and gamble. I'd go to a casino, I'd play some 21, I would think, well, I could turn this into $200 or $300, or I could lose it. And if I lose it, I'm only $20 poorer. And then I started making money. I had some cash flowing assets that turned on the income snowball, and money started coming in that I didn't have to sell my life 1 hour at a time for. I took care of the bad debt. I actually found myself in a better financial position. And now I look at the $20 bill that I have, and I would never gamble with it. I knew what it'd take to put the system in place to have that money, so I wouldn't put it at risk. So I'm an example of when I was poor, I would totally gamble or buy lottery tickets. Once I was no longer poor, I don't do that. Someday, I might have enough wealth where I take a set amount of money and I just think, I can throw this away, I can burn it, I can gamble with it, because why not?
But not today.
Today, I still realize the amount of time, energy, effort, strategy that it took to put a system in place to where I could have that money to gamble with. So I'm not gonna. The third reason why some of our friends are broke is because we make spending too easy. Sometimes people don't understand the importance of difficulty or the emotional connection with gain and loss. A lot of us would experience a stronger emotion if we lost $10 than if we found $100. And an example of this is sometimes people will say, I carry cash. because I actually want to feel the money leaving my hand so that I'm less likely to spend it. So some people switch to debit cards because of the convenience. They actually have convenience fees when you use them in some places. Some people use credit cards. And so we remove the barriers to spending to make it easier so our friends stay broke. Early on, we had examples of you can use a credit card, you can use a debit card, so you don't have to carry cash. That moved into decades ago. We had a system called layaway. You would select an item in a store, pay payments until it was paid off, and then pick it up. So you didn't have to save a big lump sum of money that you'd be tempted to spend on something else. You made it easier to spend at the store by giving the store your money until the item was paid for. That was too difficult for some people. They wanted it easier to spend money. So we have buy now, pay later. You go to the store, you select the item, you take it home. They sometimes give you 12 months, 18 months interest-free to pay it back, because buy now, pay later often becomes, this is why the companies are willing to do it, buy now, pay later becomes buy now, pay late with fees and interest. It's in the store's benefit to do that. And then eventually, as a society, we decided that using debit cards and credit cards was too much work. So we came out with apps. Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Just tap your phone here to make it easier to spend your money. So a lot of our friends stay broke because it's really easy to spend money. And that's not even talking about the concept of a credit card lets us spend money we don't have yet. We're borrowing from our future self so that we can buy things easier with a credit card so we don't feel the cash leaving. And then we pay interest for the privilege, the convenience of doing that. The fourth reason why some of our friends are broke is one that confuses a few people because of the way it sounds when you say the first sentence. Some of the people that we know are broke because they save money. Saving will not create wealth. Saving is actually a way to lose money. Here's a really quick example. Let's say for the last year, one of our friends saved $100,000 and they kept it in a savings account where they earned 1% interest. If they did the work to find an account that actually paid 1% interest, most paid 0.02% interest. But if they were getting 1%, that means if they had the $100,000 in the bank for a year, they earned 1% in interest, which is $1,000. Sounds like they're wealthy. But if they saved that $100,000 and they put it in the bank, inflation for the last year was over 8%, meaning they lost 7% in buying power over that last year because they saved their money. To become wealthy, saving is a step on the path, but it is just one step. If our friends don't find a way to take the money that they saved and put it to work, earning more money, creating more money. Did you know that you can actually buy money? That was the concept that changed everything for me. Once our friends figure out to do that, they might actually get on the path to wealth, but most people never do. That's why most of our friends stay broke. And the fifth reason why some of our friends are broke and stay broke actually kind of offends some people. That's why I saved it till the end. Some of our friends are broke because they let life happen to them. They don't take control. They don't have a plan. Sometimes it's, I'm going to go to college and pick a major later, creating all of this debt without an actual goal of making that debt generate income. Or they have kids before they're ready. I'm an example of that. I'm definitely an example of somebody who was broke a long time in their life because I had kids super young before I was ready. I tell my kids often they are living, breathing proof that I never developed time travel. I might take that out of the video.
But not today.
A mistake that some people do beyond college without a plan or having kids too early is dating somebody who's bad with money and forgetting that dating is a vetting process. And then they don't vet. They just think, we were together yesterday, so we need to be together tomorrow. Instead of thinking, yesterday sucked, maybe I shouldn't date this person anymore. Take control of your life. The decisions you make actually have an impact. I hear people often talk about the back to the future syndrome. If you travel to the past and you make a change, you might drastically change your current situation and affect the present. But very few people talk about making changes today that are greatly going to impact your future. Until our friends take control of their life, including their finances, make a plan, educate themselves, and take action, they're going to stay broke. Wouldn't it be messed up if I made a video this entire time and I wasn't talking about your friend, I was actually talking about us?
But not today.
Today, I'm actually talking about the people that we know that are broke, who we don't want to let be an influence on us. Remember, audit your personal network doesn't mean eliminating people, but it means adding people who actually are doing the things that you want to do, because you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Start spending time with people who understand finances. But I want you to think of these 5 things and think, did any of them apply to you? Do they still apply to you? And in the comments below, do me a favor and let me know, when you were broke, what do you think was the one thing you changed that stopped you from being broke? Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.